Carlos Bruno of Calgary. You could win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 million touchdown to win promotion. And if a second kickoff's returned all the way, well, you could also win $1 million. Carlos, good luck. Game 1 of a triple-header Saturday to Gord Miller and Henry Burris.
All right, Rod, and 3 rematches on the menu today, starting with Southern Ontario's battle between the Hamilton Ticats and the Toronto Argonauts. Hamilton won 42-28 last week, or Monday in Hamilton, scoring 18 points in the 4th quarter.
Well, I can tell you, Gord, this is a big day for this young man, McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Talked about that 4th quarter interception that helped change the game and seal the deal for Hamilton. He'll need to step up big for this team to get a victory and stay out of the bottom, the cellar in the Eastern Division. And speaking of that, on the other side, Alex Green has been on fire, guys. I tell you, he's been a guy that nobody's been able to stop over the past couple of games. He's put up just under 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's on fire, and a key reason that the Hamilton Tiger Cats have been in the zone as of late.
June Jones and the Hamilton Ticats are 5-5 now on the season. Ottawa lost last night at BC, so a chance for Hamilton to tie for top spot in the East. Hamilton and Ottawa play each other in a home-and-home in late October. And for the Argonauts, this might very well be it to have a chance to make the playoffs. The Argos are 3-7. They are 3-2 at home this year. All 3 of their wins have come at home, and in all 3 victories, they trailed after 3 quarters of play. Toronto won the toss, elected to defer its choice to the second half. The wind is blowing from right to left as we look at it. And so the Argos will kick things off. To start off, our 9 hours of football.
Yeah.
3 rematches on this Saturday.
Beautiful day for football.
Zach Madero to kick things off for the Argos. And the kick is taken at the 12-yard line by Braylon Addison, and Addison making his Canadian Football League debut gets the ball to the 30-yard line, which is where Jeremiah Mazzoli and the Ticats will go to work.
I tell you, Mazzoli, he's been on fire over the past couple of games, throwing for just over 800 yards. Who's going to stop this guy? I mean, Toronto's got their hands full trying to stop this leader of this Hamilton Ticat offense.
Argos without Marcus Ball, who was injured in the Labor Day game in Hamilton. Ticats racked up massive yardage last week, 539 yards against this Argo defense. First down from the 29-yard line. The give is to Green. And Green fights his way across the 30 after the 33-yard line. And the tackle made there by Troy Davis.
Well, let's look at this Hamilton Ticats starting offense with Luke Tasker. He's done a fantastic job with 300 yards and 2 touchdowns over the past 2 games. He's definitely become one of the motivational leaders of that unit. And looking at that offensive line, Mike Filer's been the difference of why this offense has been one of the most powerful offenses in the league. They'll need to keep Mazzoli clean today, so they got their hands full with this Argo front 4.
Game was 3 at 2nd and 7. Now the second down carry goes to Sean Thomas Irwington, who splits time between running back and receiver, but he was brought down right away on the play.
Well, I can show you right now, this Toronto Argonaut front 7, they came out with a focus today, taking away the run, because Alex Green in this running game tore them apart last week, and it really kept them off balance, and that's why Mazzoli off play action was able to go to work on that young secondary.
Ken Bishop and Bear Woods make the stop, and so it's a quick 2-and-out for the Ticats. And on comes Liram Haralahu to punt. Martise Jackson back to receive. It's off the side of Haralahu's foot and bounces down to Jackson at the 35-yard line. And a flag is down, so is Jackson. The special teams tackle made by Josh Johnson. So a low driving kick by Haralahu. And Jackson fields it. We'll see what the flag is. About the first of the afternoon. Here's referee Tom Balesi.
During the return, holding, Toronto number 53, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Argos were flagged 10 times, over 100 yards on Monday in Hamilton. And there is McLeod Bethel-Thompson leading the offense on the field.
Well, these are things that can't happen and give bad field position to this young quarterback, McLeod Bethel-Thompson. It was the first game that he threw for under 260 yards in all of his 4 starts. They need good field position to give this young man a great chance to attack this great Hamilton Ticat secondary.
First down, the play fake. Bethel-Thompson has time, steps up and throws, and James Wilder Jr. makes the catch.
Well, let's look at the Toronto starting offensive lineup. We got to start with S.J. Green because we talked about their inability to get the passing game going last week. Him as a veteran and the playmaker that we all know, he's got to get it going and get that young group going as well. But it's all about this offensive line. Hey, we talked about the running game with James Wilder Jr. averaging 85 yards, a league worst. They've got to step it up, keep McLeod Bethel-Thompson clean today.
Game was 3 at 2nd and 7. 4-man rush. And Bethel-Thompson throws it up to the flat, but a great play made in the open field as the tackle was made by Donanumba. And that'll limit the gain to about 4 and bring up 3rd and 2. And the Argos will have to punt.
Yeah, that was a great tackle by Namba there to get them off the field so they can help change field position to give Masoli and then possibly a great return here and put them right in the place they want to be. A short field with all those weapons that he has.
As damaging as the turnover last week was, the interception by Daly in the 4th quarter, the 2-and-out that followed it for Toronto after Hamilton scored, Mark Trestman said that was the turning point in the football game.
Yeah, definitely. Big plays are key, and we talked about turnovers haunting both these teams. None more than Toronto, and definitely that one did haunt them.
Addison from his 20-yard line waits for blocks to get established, but he's stacked up right away. The tackle made on special teams by Cameron Walker, a 57-yard punt, and a return of 8. No score here in the opening quarter. The Hamilton Ticats looking to avoid a post-Labor Day letdown after a big win over their arch rivals. It's the rematch in Toronto on this Saturday afternoon. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the CFL. Much cooler here in Toronto on this Saturday than it was in Hamilton last Monday. And there is June Jones, the head coach and offensive coordinator for the Hamilton Ticats, as Mazzoli and company get their second series starting at their own 28-yard line. Empty backfield. Mazzoli stands in and throws, and wide open is Tasker for a first down and more. Luke Tasker out to midfield. And the Toronto Territory will muck him down to the 54-yard line of the Argonauts.
Well, I tell you, the offensive line's ability to give Jeremiah Masoli a chance to stand in that pocket and allow Luke Tasker to work the zone. As you can see, the linebacker flow here in the middle opens wide up for Luke Tasker. Hey, and he's shown an ability to run after the catch, getting additional yardage. Now they're right at midfield.
Gain was 28, and the ball just across midfield. Back to the ground they go. Sean Thomas Erlington. This is not a traditional run and shoot as we get a look at the Toronto defense.
Yeah, let's take a look at him. Cleon Lane. Hey, just last year, this front four led the entire league at the end of the season with 50 sacks, tied with Calgary. They're at the bottom of the league right now. That's been a big difference. And talking about the linebackers, Justin Tuggle filling in for Marcus Ball. Hey, his ability to help stop the run is important to help balance this thing out and make Hamilton one-dimensional. He'll have a big job on his hands today. And that secondary, 3 rookies starting, again, 385 yards against them last week. They'll need to come up big.
Second and long, Mazzoli gets hit, throws up to the flat. Tasker's got the first down and off and running again. Tasker inside the 30. Took a hard shot there from Alden Darby. And Tasker moves the ball inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. And the gain is 24.
Well, I tell you, Jeremiah Masoli, he definitely is doing a great job. He is a doctor in that backfield. As you can see, the coverage collapse inside. Luke Tasker was able to outflank that zone coverage, which was squeezed inside by the motions and the route combination that was occurring, which gave Luke Tasker a chance to outflank the defense. And Luke, when he turns those shoulders upfield, he gets rolling. And it looks like that hit right there is definitely going to put one of their players down for the Argos. He's down now on a knee. But I tell you, doing a great job of just being patient, allowing the play to evolve, taking what the defense gives them. And if it means just throwing it underneath, you've got to do that.
It's Jermaine Gabriel, the center, who took the worst of that collision, and Gabriel will make his way off. So Matt Black will come in his place. Black, of course, the big story last year for Toronto, released in training camp, rejoined the team later in the year, was a huge part of their playoff success.
Well, hey, you can't replace veteran leadership like Matt Black, of course, making that big play in the Grey Cup to help seal the deal, the big victory for Toronto. You can't replace that. That's why they had to put him back on the roster, and he's come up big for this team, especially with Marcus Ball out. You need that presence on that defense that's been struggling.
First down, Hamilton at the Toronto 29-yard line. Give back to Green. And Green is tracked down right away and brought down by Ken Bishop. No gain in the play. And this is
Great job starting this game out, because we saw Alex Green. He went off last week, everybody. He did it in every way, not only on the ground, but also in the air. And trust me, when he got inside the 25-yard line, I know you might call it the red zone, Gord, but it was the green zone on Monday night. And he's looking to repeat that performance again. But Hamilton, they've become a much different offense since 15 has came back on the team.
2nd and 10 from the 29. Here comes the blitz. Mazzoli stands in and throws. The pass is tipped, caught by Tasker. And he fights his way down to the 20-yard line, very close to another Hamilton first down. He'll be just short. And now decision time for June Jones to go for it on 3rd and short.
Well, it goes to show you they've done a great job of game planning here. They've ran zone plays against zone, and now man-to-man from Toronto's defense and secondary, you're running away from man-to-man. They've done a great job of scripting these opening couple of drives, especially this drive in particular, and now they're sitting here with a 3rd and 1.
3rd and a full yard to go at the Toronto 20. Empty backfield. Mazzoli dives ahead. He's got the first down to the 17-yard line. A gain of a couple, and the drive continues for Hamilton. Ticats lead the league, Henry, in time of possession per game, in plays run.
Did you see the surge here on the right end? I mean, Matthews, I mean, Filer, I mean, these guys push that Argo front 2 to 3 yards backwards. When you get that type of surge from your offensive line on the right side, I mean, you can just run there all day as a quarterback on quarterback sneaks, save your quarterback a hit.
First down now from the Toronto 17. And Mazzoli looks at the end zone to Tasker. Touchdown!
That's a thing of beauty right there. That's a thing of beauty. A reoccurring theme on this entire draft, on this entire drive for this team. And again, they called the perfect play versus man-to-man coverage, getting the early motion, showing what the coverage was, man-to-man, and getting Luke Tasker, who's been on fire this entire drive. But the thing I love is Jeremiah Mazzoli. His eyes holds the safety just so he can't get over the top of that corner route, because Matt Black intercepted that same type of route combination in the Grey Cup, but just because of his eyes holding the safety, Matt Black, Luke Tasker was able to win against Darby, a guy who's been covering to a 9. I mean, he's been doing a great job of coverage, but Luke Tasker's in his own, everybody.
Now Hiralaho for the point after. It is good. And the Ticats on their 2nd possession drive the ball 7 plays, 82 yards. Tasker accounts for 77 of them on 4 catches and the touchdown grab, which is his 5th of the year. A quick start for Hamilton. The Ticats lead 7-0 on the CFL on TSN. Luke Tasker now has touchdown catches in 3 consecutive games with the Hamilton Ticats. Missed a couple of games to injury earlier this season, but a critical part of a Hamilton offense that is one of the tops in the Canadian Football League. We mentioned lead the league in time of possession, the fewest 2-and-outs in the Canadian Football League so far this year. And once again, a slow start for the Toronto Argonauts, who have really struggled in the opening quarter this year. And a short kick by Hiralaho. Did it get long enough? It's out of bounds. It was in behind Hamilton's Courtney Stevens, so the Ticats try some trickery, but it'll be an illegal kickoff. And here's a break now for the Argos, who will get the football in great field position.
It was a great thought. I mean, it was a great thought. I don't think
illegal kickoff out of bounds. Hamilton number 70. Ball we placed at the out of bounds spot. First down.
I don't think anybody suspected this. However, the ball has to go 10 yards. And in this case, the ball doesn't even get close. But it was a great thought process. I don't think anybody expected that to be coming. But unfortunately now, in the flip side, it gives Toronto great field position.
First down to the Hamilton 43-yard line. And they give to Wilder. And James Wilder Jr. fights his way down to the 37-yard line.
Let's take a look at that Ticat starting defense. These guys have been on a roll, getting turnovers from the Argos to definitely seal that game last week. Taking a look at that front four, who's got to pick up their sack ability. They're second to last in sacks. That's why they brought Jamal Westerman over in the trade for Johnny Manziel. They need him to step up and pressure the quarterback today. But the leaders of this defense are the linebackers, led by Larry Dean in the middle. They've done a great job of being able to create turnovers. They need to shut down James Wilder Jr. And that secondary led by Delvin Breaux. Great to see him back.
On second down, fire it out to Armani Edwards. And Armani Edwards has the first down of the game for Toronto inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Argos did not score the first quarter last week. In their last 7 games, a total of 20 first quarter points.
Oh, that's not enough to get the job done, but they need plays like this. Easy gimmies, just easy gimmies. It's almost like pitch and catch like they do every
For the 29. Bethel Thompson looking over the top for Carter in the end zone. Incomplete. Back on the coverage with the safety, Mike Daly. And Carter's first catch was almost for a touchdown, just out of his reach.
It's almost like a kid when you got that brand new Hot Wheel, you got to show it off to the kids. They took a shot right there as soon as Duron Carter came in. His first play, let's take a shot over top. Let's show off our brand new deep threat. Well, they had a chance here. Great job by McLeod Bethel Thompson of giving Duron Carter a chance. You know, just a little long there, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more of that as this game goes on.
Second down, 4-man rush, and Bethel Thompson throws in a pass. Hops in front of S.J. Green, incomplete. It'll bring up third down for Toronto.
You know, they've got to complete those passes. I mean, that's the difference between putting up the points by getting the ball in the end zone and continuing drives, but even more importantly, keeping the defense off the field. If you continue to go out with 2 and outs or even just a couple of drives, a couple plays here and there, as long as Hamilton continues to march it like they have been, you can wear your defense out if they don't get long drives to give those guys some rest.
So Hiralahu will try from 36 yards out. Check that, Zach Medeiros, rather. Medeiros 7 for 9 since taking over for Ronnie Pfeffer, who's out with injury. And Medeiros puts it up and through. And so the Argos get on the board thanks to the illegal kickoff by the Ticats. Now down 7-3. Jeremiah Mazzola completed 4 passes on the opening drive, all of them to Luke Tasker, including the 4th for a touchdown reception. Hamilton leads Toronto 7-3. We're going on the CFL on TSN. 9 hours of football coming your way today here on TSN. Let's go to the sidelines and Matthew Shinetti.
Well, Henry Burris, welcome to the broadcast crew. Not so long ago, you were a teammate of Luke Tasker, and you and I shared some thoughts about just the way that Mr. Tasker is kind of exerting himself, especially after that big out route that he took into the end zone against the Edmonton Eskimos just a few weeks ago. He had so much energy about him that after that game, he said, if we get to the Grey Cup, this play will be so pivotal. He's been so energetic. All the teams are noticing it. I talked to him before the game about it, and the one thing Tasker said is, at this point, after all the injuries I've gone through recently, I'm starting to enjoy this game and love what I'm doing so much more. How could I not in this offense, guys?
That pass almost intercepted by Alden Darby. It'll be second down Hamilton from the Ticat 35.
I tell you, I like Alden Darby's game. I mean, he sat there in between the underneath route by Luke Tasker and Brandon Banks over the top and played the eyes of Jeremiah Masoli. He made sure he made a great play, almost an interception. They need more turnovers with this Argo defense to give their offense great field position and a chance to put points on the board.
Second down, the draw play to Green, and Alex Green trips up quickly on the play. He'll be well short of a first down as the tackle is made.
It was a great call. It was a great call. They have 5 men in the box, a chance to crease it with 5 offensive linemen blocking 5 defensive guys because they had 2 guys man-to-man coverage, 2 guys high in defense, man-to-man coverage underneath. Usually you're supposed to win as an offense to get 10 yards in that case. Great job by the Argo front 5.
And now Duron Carter back to receive the punt from Liram Hiralahu. And Carter from his 20-yard line. To the 30, and is brought down there on the tackle by Lucas Waka. 48-yard punt, a 10-yard return, and McLeod Bethel Thompson, who took a lot of it on himself for the loss on Monday in Hamilton, looks to redeem himself and his football team. The Argos fighting for their playoff lives in the rematch against Hamilton. One of the unique features of the Canadian Football League, facing the same team in back-to-back weeks.
it's like playing 8 quarters against the same team. So it's like a round 2. So I like it. It's a round 2. It's a chance to get back at the guys that you just lost to. I bet they don't like it because they came out on top, so they want to walk away the winner. But I think it's like a street fight. You got to go back out there and see that same kid on the block, and you got to go up and square him up and see him again. So I'm very happy that we get them again and we get another shot to beat them.
I'll meet you by the flagpole at recess.
I can only imagine his excitement, I tell you, for McLeod Bethel-Thompson, playing against a guy he grew up in the same neighborhood. Jeremiah Masoli's on the other side of the ball. This is something they're going to be talking about 20, 30 years down the road. I know he wants to get payback today.
Argo started the 30-yard line. Back to the ground to James Wilder Jr. And James Wilder with a first down and more out to close to midfield. Mike Daly makes the tackle, a 24-yard gain for Wilder, who was kind of a forgotten man last week in Hamilton, but primarily because the Argos fell behind early on.
Well, look at this run. Off to the right end, you've got Van Zyl, you've got Bauman, you've got McEwen doing a great job, and also seeing Tyler Holmes work up to the second level to get on the middle linebacker, Larry Dean. I tell you, this was huge because they need this running game to get started. James Wilder Jr. is a guy we expected so much against. They've got to get him running today.
And back to the ground they go, but this time Wilder is stacked up quickly. Bobby Richardson, number 91, who draws in for Ted Laurent on the defensive line for the Ticats, makes the stop. So Ted Laurent, 2-time All-Canadian, is out today due to a personal matter. So he was a late scratch for the Ticats. Richardson draws in. Hamilton defense has been very strong of late, but does have the second fewest sacks in the CFL for an aggressive group. Gain was 1 at 2nd and 9. Bethel-Thompson off his back foot, throwing, and the pass is caught by S.J. Green. Down to the 36-yard line, the Ticats are arguing. The ruling on the field is a catch. A gain of 19 yards for Toronto's number 19.
Wow, I think once McLeod Bethel-Thompson saw he had man-to-man coverage, of course he got pressure up the middle. What a great throw by him just to give his guy a chance. Strong hands by S.J. Green.
Not sure that was a catch as they go back to the ground to Wilder. And he is tripped up on the tackle by Don Anamba. A gain of 6 on the play.
They need those first down runs like that to get James Wilder Jr. off to a good start now, helping get those linebackers to creep closer to the line of scrimmage. This is going to open up a lot of play action opportunities for those receivers on the back end. They've got to keep running James Wilder Jr. to give short opportunities in second and medium. You'll see a lot of man-to-man coverage right here.
On second down, 4-man rush. Bethel-Thompson throws, and the pass is caught inside the 20-yard line. Edwards makes the grab. The tackle is made by Jamal Roll. The gain is 19 yards. Another Toronto first down.
Defensive coordinators run 85% man-to-man coverage on second and medium. After that throw in the last drive where he threw it low and behind S.J. Green, it seems that McLeod Bethel-Thompson has settled down. They made the right play call against the right defense. Great throw and catch with Armani Edwards.
Now first down Toronto from the Hamilton 18-yard line. And now Bethel-Thompson throws again to Edwards, and Edwards wrapped up in the open field. Oh, some pushing and shoving at the end of that.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
Earl Brooks with a tackle on the play down to the 10-yard line of the Argos. The gain was make it 2, 2nd and 8 for Toronto. Final minute now, the opening quarter. Bethel-Thompson. The end zone has a man overthrew S.J. Green, who was wide open in behind Mike Daly. Bethel-Thompson pressured on the play by Jamal Westerman. It'll bring up third down for the Argos, and the field goal unit will come on.
Well, you can see his chin straps over his mouth, and that's for a reason, because when you get inside the tight red zone and you got a 2nd and long, you might as well expect all-out blitz, and that's what Hamilton brings right here. Jamal Westerman, who they brought in here, we talked about earlier, had to increase pressures and get more stacks. Gets back there and applies the pressure, which causes the overthrow.
So now Medeiros will try from 22 yards out to bring Toronto within 1. Remember, the Argos held the lead in the 4th quarter against Hamilton on Monday. And Medeiros puts it through, so the Argos twice get looks at the end zone, don't connect, but come up with field goals on both occasions. And it's now 7-6 with 11 seconds to go in the opening quarter, and we're just getting started. Still to come, the Labor Day rematch between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, and then to wrap things up tonight, round 2 between the Stampeders and the Eskimos at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. You've been part of all of these matchups.
All these matchups, I can tell you. You can tell a guy is, I've been a Rolling Stone throughout the CFL, you know, playing in every Labor Day matchup, but some huge matchups for many different implications, especially for Winnipeg, just like Toronto, fighting for their lives to stay in that playoff race.
Ticats take the ball at their 35-yard line. And go back to the ground as Mazzola swings it out for Tasker. A little shovel pass there. Look out. On some marbles there on the sidelines. It's actually Mike Jones with the catch. A little shovel from Mazzoli, and the opening quarter comes to an end. Hamilton with an early strike. The Argos come back with 2 field goals. It's a 7-6 lead for the Ticats in the second half of the Labor Day week, home and home, between the Ticats and the Argos. Let's take you back to 1999 and Henry Burris' CFL debut. His first career touchdown pass. Good pick going to Alan Pitts, the Hall of Famer, for the score against Edmonton at home. And the following week, number 16 makes his first start against Montreal. Gets a win against the Alouettes. And of course, the 2008 Grey Cup, your first as a starting quarterback against the Alouettes. A 3-time Grey Cup champion, and now a CFL and TSN analyst. Henry Burris, how you liking it so far?
I'm having a great time, I tell you that, Gord. I mean, it's good just to be back part of the game, and it's something how where one chapter ended, winning the 2016 Grey Cup here at BMO. A new chapter for me begins now here doing color with you.
Now everyone's open from up here, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
First down, Ticats. From their 44-yard line, flags are down. Mazzoli throws, and Brandon Banks makes the catch in Argo territory. And down to the 48-yard line, Alden Darby makes the stop. We'll see what the flag is about.
Offside. Toronto number 94. That penalty be declined. First down.
And so the Ticats are on the march again. We've talked about this, Henry, that this is not a traditional run and shoot offense the Ticats use. A lot more running plays than you would see in a run and shoot.
Definitely. Yeah, June, he expresses running the ball a lot, getting that balance going, just so the defense can lean one way or the other.
Give it back to Green on first down. Alex Green puts his head down and fights his way across the 40-yard line. Should have close to another first down. And Mark Trespin was singing the praises of Alex Green, talking to us yesterday about the way he runs.
Well, I tell you, with Riker Matthews and Mike Filer leading the way on that right end, they run a counter action here, pulling Revenberg, which really opens up a nice hole for them to get some good yardage. They've struggled to get yardage in the running game thus far. They averaged 6.5 yards a rush last week. Now it's good to see them get 9 yards here, but puts them in the 2nd and 1. They can run anything right now.
Empty backfield, Mazzoli pump fake and wants to go deep. Fires out to Banks, and the pass knocked away on a good defensive play by Ronnie Yells. You talked about it right there, a free play for Hamilton.
Yeah, they can run anything, but they gave a little bit of a disguise, lining up in a quarterback sneak lineup with tight sets by the offensive line. They gave him plenty of time to make a good throw behind here, but great job by Ronnie Yell breaking it up. But again, they're still in a short yardage situation. They can run the quarterback sneak here, move the chains, which we saw the 2 to 3 yard surge on the right side of that offensive line. I expect them to go the same direction here on this quarterback sneak.
3rd and less than a yard for the Ticats. And Mazzoli Stutter steps ahead and has another first down for Hamilton. Ticats have now won 3 of their last 4. We mentioned Ottawa lost last night. So a chance for the Ticats to tie for first place in the East this week.
Definitely. I mean, this is a big game, and they expressed that yesterday. No matter how much they tried to deny it, we knew they were going to be up late last night watching that BC Lion-Ottawa game. And to see BC get that big victory now makes this game even more important for the Ticats in more ways than one.
First down just inside the Toronto 40. Mazzoli steps up, sidelines that down inside the 35-yard line. And the catch is made by Tasker for a gain of about 6.
I love the fact that even with pressure, Jeremiah Mazzoli showed his pocket presence here, keeping his eyes downfield, working the pocket, and was able to find something underneath. Not every play has to be a big play, because right now they're back in second and medium, just like we said earlier, in second and medium, 85% of the time, and even more in certain cases, depending on the team, you're going to get man-to-man coverage. So I expect something that's going to attack man-to-man coverages, running crossing routes, or maybe even a corner route like we saw Luke Tasker earlier downfield.
Mark, the gain is 5. It's 2nd and 5. Mazzoli throws. The pass was in behind Tasker, who hangs on and makes the grab. Another first down as the tight coverage provided by Alden Darby.
I know Jeremiah's kind of kicking himself, but hey, he made a great decision getting rid of him. You see to the left with Rashawn Lawrence and Luke Tasker, they're playing man-to-man. There's one defender with 2 receivers. So I know if he had a split second longer, he's going to keep that in the memory bank. Hey, they messed up on the motion there. If that happens again, don't forget that corner out over top. But great job of getting it to Luke Tasker to move the chains. First down inside the red zone now.
Mazzoli stands in again, has all day. Looks down to the goal line. Brandon Banks, touchdown. Tremaine Washington there on the coverage, but Banks gets free and strikes again for Hamilton.
Wow, we talked about Mike Filer leading that offensive line, going up against this Argo defensive line that has failed to get any pressure on the quarterback, and it wasn't any more evident than this play right here. Look at all this time. I mean, put on the stopwatch, go get a popcorn, get some cotton candy, enjoy a nice drink or whatever, but he had all day right here. And just as last week in the 4th quarter, when he needed somebody to get open in the scramble rules situation, who was there? Brandon Banks.
8 plays, 75-yard drive. Banks now has 5 touchdown catches in the last 5 games for Hamilton. Had 1 in his first 6. And Hiralahu puts the point after up and through. And the Ticats restore their lead, now leading 14-6 here in the 2nd quarter on Rematch Saturday on the CFL on TSN. It's once again been the Tasker and Banks show for the Hamilton Ticats as Brandon Banks has his 6th touchdown catch of the year. Had just 1 in the first 6 games of the season, but has emerged the last few weeks as a huge part of June Jones' offense.
I tell you, he's coming alive with the injury to Jalen Saunders. They needed a guy to step up. Who better than Brandon Banks? He's been Johnny on the spot in scramble situations.
And a ball now to the end zone. In behind Marquise Jackson. And that'll be a single point.
Well, Gord, as a quarterback, I love looking at touchdowns. So let's take a look at that Brandon Banks touchdown. Hey, keep an eye over here between these 2 guys. That's the only place you need to keep your eye on, because this play takes a little bit longer than expected, but let's get it rolling, because here we see the offensive line giving Jeremiah Mazzoli lots of time. Great coverage on the back end by the defensive backs, but we all saw last week when Jeremiah scrambles, who knows where to go to the open hole? Brandon Banks. Great job by Brandon Banks buying time, getting open, which led to another big touchdown.
And Jeremiah Mazzoli telling us yesterday, Henry, that that's really been a part of Banks' game that has come alive, is his ability when the play gets out of the pocket, becomes more improvised, you want to call it that, he's the guy that gets open.
Well, Brandon Banks is so shifty. He can always make things happen. Once you take your eyes off of him, he's gone.
First down from the 35-yard line. And Bethel Thompson finds it out there to Smith. And Rodney Smith makes the catch. Stopped at the 43-yard line, be a couple of yards short of a Toronto first down. And this is what we talked about last week. The Argos can't go 2 and out.
Yeah, they can't go 2 and out. They gave him extra protection here by adding a 2 tight end situation, which allowed him to get some one-on-one opportunities downfield. Here, Rodney Smith, he outflanks the defense. A nice, quick throw and catch. That's all they need to do. Pitch and catch. Now they're sitting here in a 2nd and 2.
James Franklin, the short yardage team, come on for the Argos, and Franklin dives ahead and should have enough for a Toronto first down. So the Argos did not score in the first quarter last week and are once again held without a touchdown in the first quarter and a half this week.
Well, this is a huge drive here. They've got to answer that touchdown by Hamilton. Number one, keep that defense on the sideline. Allow those guys to rest up. That was a long drive by Jeremiah Masoli and that offense. Now it's time for them to answer the call and get some points on the board.
On first down, they swing it out for Jackson. And Martese Jackson gets 7 out to the 52-yard line.
But we've been waiting to see Martese Jackson come alive, and now they're finding different ways to get him involved in the offense right there. Just a little nice toss, a screen, a bubble screen. Get him one-on-one with somebody in open field. That guy can make anybody miss, and he was able to get some good positive yardage there. 2nd and medium, and we talked about 2nd and medium equals man-to-man coverage.
We'll see if they do that here.
Yeah, we're going to see.
There's James Wilder. On the 2nd down carry, puts his head down, gets 5, crosses midfield, and moves the sticks for Toronto.
Wow, I tell you, that was a powerful run by James Wilder Jr. He made contact short of the first down with Larry Dean, but once it was over, those chains were moving. I tell you, when 32 puts his shoulders down, he's a big physical back, runs downhill hard. Look at him. Larry Dean takes him on ahead of the first down after contact, an extra 3 to 4 yards. The chains are moving.
Wilder 5 carries for 40 yards. And now Bethel Thompson looks over the top. Armani Edwards has got it. Makes the catch in tight coverage. Frankie Williams was there with him. But that ball won by Armani Edwards in the air gets Toronto down to the Hamilton 21-yard line, a gain of 31 yards.
Well, McLeod Bethel Thompson looked very comfortable in the pocket here with this zero coverage. Of course, you see Mike Daly, the safety, leave the middle of the field. Anytime a safety leaves the middle of the field, you replace it with the receiver. Armani Edwards was the guy in this case. He got across the face of Frank Williams to that open hole. Great throw by Bethel Thompson.
So once again, the Argos have the ball inside the Hamilton 30-yard line. Twice they've been turned away and settled for field goals. On first down, Bethel Thompson throws it underneath, and the catch is made by S.J. Green down to the 10-yard line. And good for another Toronto first down.
It was man-to-man coverage here in this case, and you get S.J. Green, who's one of the best route runners in this league. And here he had soft coverage here. Great eyes by McLeod Bethel Thompson to keep the safety in the middle of the field. And at the last minute, he turns his shoulders to S.J. Green, delivers a great throw. First down.
Ron Carter not in the offensive lineup right now for Toronto. The fullback Declan Cross comes on. Bethel Thompson throws down the goal line. Edwards, touchdown. Armani Edwards in behind Larry Dean. And the Argos answer Hamilton's drive with one of their own. And once again, draw close.
Great job by Bethel Thompson. If you ever heard people talk about a quarterback going through his progression, no better example than on that play right there. Initially, this play is meant to go to the flat route to the field, but Hamilton did a great job. You get an under route for Rod Smith. It's covered. His third option is Armani Edwards. Great job. Great throw away from the linebacker, so therefore he couldn't break it up. The Argos answered Hamilton's touchdown earlier.
Edwards with his 3rd touchdown reception of the year, a former quarterback at Appalachian State. Here's Armani Edwards. And now Medeiros puts the point out. They're up and through. And the Toronto Argonauts draw within 2. 7 plays, 75-yard scoring drive for the Argos. And McLeod Bethel Thompson finds Armani Edwards for the touchdown. 15-13, Hamilton leads here in the first half. So the Argos talk things over after a much-needed touchdown drive. There's Anthony Calvillo right in the middle of things, talking to McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Armani Edwards, and the rest of the offensive unit watching on the tablet. Things have changed.
Things have changed. Typically, it was AC and I going at it with each other, but now he's helping out McLeod Bethel-Thompson. He looked great on that drive. You can see him really settling down now.
Ricky Ray talking things over as well. So McLeod Bethel-Thompson has a couple of pretty good mentors to lean on. As Medeiros sends this deep to Addison. Addison from the 15-yard line. Gets across the 25 to about the 28. So here comes Jeremiah Mazzoli, who's had 8 300-yard games for Hamilton this year. The franchise record is 9. Who holds that record, Henry Burris?
I wonder who is that? Danny Mack, or is it this ugly guy with a gap tooth who's retired now?
No, not Matt Dunnigan. Not Chuck Ely. No, not Mike Kerrigan.
Mike Kerrigan.
No, it's you.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you, but records are made to be broken, and who better else than Jeremiah Mazzoli? I hope he breaks it. I hope he breaks it.
First down, Hamilton for the Ticat 28. And a play fake to Green, wide open for Mazzoli. Jeremiah Mazzoli still going. Out to the 50-yard line, finally wrapped up by Troy Davis. Everyone bought that fake to Alex Green.
That's the power of Alex Green. I tell you, with a running game being so proficient and successful, Jeremiah did a great job of riding it, getting that defensive end who loves to have a certain count, whether it's a 1 or a 2 count. You can see that defensive end trying to hold us contained, but he just was so urgent to get to make the tackle so he could be on the front page and TSN say good things about him. There goes Jeremiah scampering. But get down, Jeremiah. Don't take those unnecessary hits when you don't need to.
First down from the Hamilton 50. Mazzoli fires. And the ball comes loose. Banks dropped it. And it's wrapped up by Bear Woods. Banks loses the fumble. The second time he's done that this year. The Argos take over at their 49-yard line. So the Argos answer a Hamilton score. Now force a big turnover as the ball is punched out by Ronnie Yell, and the Argos get it back. So Ronnie Yell forces the ball free. Bear Woods falls on it. The Argos are last in the league in turnover differential. We got a big one here.
Oh, that's a huge one, and that's why Ronnie Yell, when they signed him as a free agent from the BC Lions, very physical player. Hey, great man-to-man cover guy, and we know with Brandon Banks' size, if you bring some heat on him and hit him good, he can cause some turnovers.
Now, early movement there. Jamal Westerman jumped. Now, did that draw the left tackle, William Campbell? We'll see what the call is from referee Tom Valesi. Clearly, Westerman moved first and got back, but then Campbell came out of his stance.
Hey, offensive linemen are taught to do that.
Offside. Hamilton, number 55. 5-yard penalty.
So first down. Once Westerman jumped, and now the ball moves across midfield. Here's an opportunity for Toronto, Henry. 5:18 to go in the first half. You've been down most of the first half so far, but you're crawling back in it, and I got a chance to take the lead.
Exactly, and anytime you can get free yardage like that, hey, get it. Great job by the offensive line.
First down from the 54. Swing the ball out to Edwards. And Armani Edwards fights his way for a first down inside the 50-yard line. In 2007, Armani Edwards was a quarterback at Appalachian State. They got paid $250,000 to play the Big House in Michigan, and they beat the Wolverines in one of the biggest upsets in college football history.
Hey, the best deal ever made by any of the small 1AA schools. Thank you so much for the money, and thank you for the biggest upset in the history of college football.
I know Edwards will remain in. We have not seen a lot of Deron Carter so far in the Argo offense. Now a flag comes down.
Oh, too many guys.
Yeah, there was some confusion.
Too many men in the formation. Toronto, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, hey, you got a new quarterback out there. That's what happens when you have a new young quarterback out there.
They brought Dakota Prokop, the third-string quarterback, in. And there was some confusion on the play, so now they give back the 5 and more, and now it's 1st and 20.
Well, that'll be the last play he runs today, I can promise you that. Your first job is to know who's in the huddle and who's not. Well, that kid's back on the sideline.
First down, 20 yards to go. Bethel-Thompson has some time. Works his way free, trying to find someone open, now off and running. And crosses midfield. Wilder was tangled up there with Donanumba. And they go tangling between the benches, which are on the same side here in Toronto as they are in so many CFL stadiums.
Well, you knew with the rivalry between these two teams and playing this second game, you knew emotions were going to fly high, especially with so much at stake for the Toronto Argonauts. They don't want to be in the basement with Montreal on fire right now. But you can see James Wilder Jr. and Donanumba getting caught up together here. And again, these will be the things they'll laugh about off the field. But once on the field, friends are off.
4, 2nd and 16. Flags are down again. Bethel Thompson throws. S.J. Green has it and has a first down to the 37-yard line. We'll see what the flag is about.
I love how Toronto's settling into a groove right now. They're calling the right plays at the right times. And McLeod, Bethel Thompson, he looks in a zone right now.
This play is going to come back.
Procedure, no end. Toronto, 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, penalties are negating some big plays that they're making right now, and they can't have these things occurring, especially with the quarterback trying to remain in sync like McLeod Bethel Thompson.
So a 25-yard swing there for the Argos, who are now back on their own side of midfield at the 52-yard line.
You don't drop too many 2nd and 25 plays in your playbook. I don't think there's any in their playbook. Good luck.
Ticats show blitz. Flags are down again, and Green can't hang on the quick strike from Bethel Thompson.
Procedure, Toronto, no end. That penalty is declined.
And no end of the penalties to Toronto. So now they decline that one, and the Argos will have to punt. That's a frustrating offensive series where the Argos struggle with penalties.
Well, it's been so promising so far, and you see the domino effect of once one thing happens, when they have too many men in the huddle, now the domino, that's the first domino that fell, and consistently penalty after penalty after penalty, and now they have to punt the ball away.
Medeiros sends it to Addison. A flag comes down as Addison goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Brought down by Alex Charette. Brett Kissel, the Canadian Country Performer of the Year last year, nominated for 6 CCMAs, which will be held tomorrow night. Will be our halftime entertainment here in Toronto.
Lots of cowboy hats in the stands.
Yeah.
Hey, you're an Alberta boy. You love that country music, don't you?
2 kinds of music where I'm from, Henry. Country and Western.
There you go.
Illegal block call against Hamilton's Delvin Breaux, and so now the Ticats start at their 9 with 3:19 to go in the first half.
Well, long field here for Hamilton to drive, but they've been having some successful drives so far today. We'll see what they can do in this situation here.
Give it off to Green on first down. He's wrapped up right away. And as the tackle is made by Toronto's Rakeem Cox.
They've done a great job at keeping Alex Green in check pretty much throughout the day, albeit a couple of plays. But if they can get them off the field here in this second down, they've got great field position, of course, with under 3 minutes to go right now with the 3-minute warning.
Which has arrived in Toronto. It's the Labor Day rematch between the Argos and the Ticats. Toronto had the lead late last week, let it slip away. And now playing for their playoff lives, down by 2 to their arch rivals from Hamilton.
3 minutes to halftime in part 1 of the triple header. We'll have thoughts on McLeod Bethel Thompson, Luke Tasker, the Argos defense, and Brett Kissel performing at the half as well. As we head back to Gord Miller and Henry Burris, guys.
Yeah, lots of cowboy hats here. Cut the string and the whistle off. Make sure you don't look like a drugstore cowboy.
I know, looks like the Stampede came east, didn't it?
Second down Ticats from their 13-yard line. 3-man rush. Mazzoli steps up and will run. Long way to go. He slides at the 20 to mark him down at the 19-yard line. That'll be just short of a Hamilton first down. And now a decision for June Jones with 2:45 to go here in the first half.
Well, here they got two guys high, man-to-man coverage underneath. It's a four-man box. But the one guy that's unaccountable is always the quarterback. Great job by Jeremiah getting the yards necessary, but getting down, because you saw how hard that hit was.
He did not get much of a break on the spot. Look at June Jones. You get a chance to see him again. New school. He's got the iPad. He's got the tablet there. He's working through all the video replays. He's also got an old school file folder with handwritten playlists on it.
I know he's new school now for me. But the thing is, when you slide with your feet, they mark it where you initially start your slide, not where you're touched in that case, because they're trying to protect the quarterback, and it's always something that people want to argue.
He's got white out on the.
Look at that. I'm glad he can understand all of it, because it's confusing to us.
So it is third and less than a yard for the Ticats. 2:45 to go here in the first half.
Now, we know the surge that they've had on the two earlier quarterback sneaks. The offensive line has done a great job of knocking that defensive line either 1 or 2 yards back into their defensive area. But right now, this is huge.
There's the center, Mike Filer, number 51, who leads the way. Mazzoli's got it easily over that right side again. Bear Woods makes the stop. As a quarterback, when you have that confidence, what kind of a difference does it make?
Oh, it makes the world of confidence, because, you know, when you come up, and Jeremiah, you can tell he has the pick to go wherever, but as you can see, to the right side there on your screen, the edge is a lot tighter, the defenseman, that is. So therefore, he knew he could escape that way, because on the second level where the linebackers usually are, there was nobody there. So in his offensive line on that right side, as we've seen throughout this game, they're getting a good push up front.
That's why I buy him dinner every week, right?
Exactly. Take those boys out, keep them smiling.
First down, Hamilton for the Ticat 23. Here's Alex Green with it again. Remember, this drive began at the Hamilton 8-yard line, so the Ticats anxious to keep the ball moving. We mentioned the Argos have won all 3 of their games this year here at home. The last 2 wins by 1 point.
Wow, I tell you, Dale Blatters, especially that Argo-Ottawa Red Black game where they scored 35 in the second half, that helped change things for them. That was McLeod Bethel-Thompson's initial start, and he was able to get things going in the right direction, but now they've got to turn it around.
On 2nd and 6. Mazzoli stands in and throws, and the pass is caught. Brandon Banks makes the grab right in front of Ronnie Yell. Banks, maybe 160 pounds, maybe.
Soaking wet, right? But hey, Gord, who did you expect when you saw Jeremiah scramble out to the right to get open? Brandon Banks. I mean, he does a great job of it. Running a comeback route to the sideline. Ronnie Yell was playing top shoulder when he ran the comeback. Wide open.
Remember, like a lot of players who come into the league, he began as a special teams player. And sometimes finding a way to include those guys in the offense is difficult.
Definitely. Takes lots of work, lots of hours during practice and after practice to get on the same page. Brandon Banks has done a heck of a job of doing that.
Mazzoli, all kinds of time, and now gets dropped. Finally got tripped up there by Troy Davis and Ken Bishop. Bishop got a late hand in there. And finally the Argos get a sack.
Wow, that was a huge sack, I can tell you right now. And look at the big man, Ken Bishop, coming off the edge there. Him and Troy Davis on that right side. And I can tell you, these guys need to put the pressure to get to Jeremiah Mazzoli. He's had too much time back there. But Ken Bishop gets great push on Riker Matthews off that edge. Gets his hands on Mazzoli, gets the sack.
2nd and a bundle. Mazzoli will swing that up for Green. Has some room in front of him, but wrapped up in a good defensive play by Robert Woodson on the corner. And he'll be well short of a first down. 1:06 to go here in the first half. And Hamilton will have to punt.
Well, there's not many plays you can draw for 2nd and 21. I mean, they initially just played deep zone, kept everything in front of them, got it outside to Alex Green, rally up, make the tackle. Now, hey, they got a chance here, probably good field position.
I know quarterbacks hate when people like me say this, but when you need 21, why do you throw a 10?
Hey, always reward the opportunity to kick it, okay? Sometimes you got to make the smart choice managing the game.
gets it away. Taken by Jackson. Flag comes down, and Jackson pushed back inside the 40-yard line. That'll be no yards against Hamilton.
Oh, to the crib, to the crib, to the crib. They're gonna have a plan for me next week. You see me? I'm finna go now.
CFL Wired comes your way Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN2.
I love that. Get to see the guys up close and personal, really get to know them.
Now, when you were mic'd, were you aware of it?
I knew it. Yeah, I knew I was mic'd up. I didn't necessarily call the plays out the way I usually call them. I didn't want everybody to know what I was saying.
No yards, puts the ball up to the 50-yard line. Bethel Thompson swings it up to S.J. Green. And Green gets out to midfield. A good shoestring tackle made there by Frankie Williams in the Hamilton defensive backfield.
Well, positive yardage on first down. 31 seconds to go here. They need about 20 more yards to get in field goal range for Zach Medeiros.
From midfield, Bethel Thompson flushed by Westerman, throws incomplete. He had all kinds of problems there. Larry Dean was in his kitchen as well. It'll bring up a third down for the Argos, and they'll have to punt.
Well, that was a smart play to make, and I know lots of people probably sitting at home saying, why was that not a grounding, like a quarterback grounding? But again, in the CFL, as long as the ball passes the line of scrimmage, it's not a quarterback grounding there. But we talked about the pressure that Hamilton needs to apply. And that's why Jamal Westerman was brought into this team. He gets pressure there on Bethel Thompson, makes him throw it in the ground.
Addison chased back to his 5-yard line. And gets wrapped up back at about the 16. So the Ticats score a touchdown early. Have had the lead for much of the football game. The Argos have hung in there, and once again, as McLeod Bethel Thompson said, it's a street fight between two pretty bitter rivals.
Well, like they say, if you back a dog into a corner, you're going to have a fight on your hands, and that's pretty much how Toronto is right now. I mean, this is a street fight between two best friends who don't like each other, and it all is going to get settled right here today.
Hamilton 5-5, Toronto 3-7. For whatever reason over the years, Hamilton's really struggled the game after Labor Day. A very good record at home on Labor Day Monday, but have really struggled the week after. And the Ticats happily grind things out here. 1 second remaining here in the first half.
Yeah, it's tough beating a team back-to-back in 1 week's time, and it could be more evident than today. I tell you now, Gordon, the second half, both teams are going to be tired. It's all about who wants the most and who can take care of the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is a close game right now.
Ricky Ray, Anthony Calvillo talking over with McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Actually, right. I was thinking about that.
And Mazzoli will take a knee here to end a very entertaining opening half in Toronto. It's the start of 9 hours of CFL rematches here on the CFL on TSN. Halftime coming up with Brett Kissel, part of our halftime entertainment. Back here in Toronto, Gord Miller, Henry Burris, the start of 3 CFL games on this Saturday, has the Ticats leading the Argos 15-13. Jeremiah Mazzoli having himself a pretty good first half. 11 of 13 for 2 touchdowns. 9 of the 11 passes went to either Luke Tasker or Brandon Banks.
I'll tell you, it's a continuation of one of the hottest quarterbacks in the CFL right now. And you know who he's going to go to. The question is, can you stop it? I mean, Luke Tasker has been on fire in his first half. I mean, the initial scoring touchdown that they threw, all 4 targets went to Luke Tasker. But, you know, Brandon Banks had to get in on the action also. But these guys have been on fire. I tell you, and whenever Masoli has used his feet, he's made Toronto's defense pay. Offensive line has given them a chance to throw, given them lots of time. But, of course, Toronto got that big sack at the end by Ken Bishop. Let's see if they can continue to build up that pressure on Masoli here in the second half.
Toronto won the coin toss, elected to defer, so we'll take the ball here to start the second half. Deron Carter back to receive the kickoff. Carter appeared in 5 offensive plays in the first half. They threw the ball his way once. It was incomplete in the end zone. Mario Alford takes the kickoff at the 15-yard line. And Alford, a good return, gets out to the 35. So McLeod Bethel Thompson, 131 yards, 1 touchdown.
I mean, I thought he did a great job in the first half. Once he settled down, things were coming along quite easily for him. But then the penalties started to happen. Of course, they took him off the field and brought Dakota Brewcup in there, and too many guys on the field that took them out of rhythm, and things spiraled downhill from there.
So on that drive, called for too many men on the field, and twice called for not having an end, for not having a receiver at the end of the line of scrimmage. The carry goes to James Wilder, and James Wilder Jr. gets up to the 40. So last week he was kind of a forgotten man. James Wilder, 11 carries, 47 yards. But again, the Argos were trailing in much of that football game until the fourth quarter. But Mark Trestman telling us yesterday they need to get Wilder more involved.
Yeah, you got to keep mixing things up. You can't make Hamilton focus just on one part of your game. With a weapon like James Wilder Jr. in the backfield, he's one of the ultimate weapons in this league. You got to continue to use him and keep him a part of this offense.
He was fourth, 2nd and 6. Bethel Thompson throws, and Levi Noel gets brought down. They'll mark him down at the 44-yard line. That should be really close to a Toronto first down. Maybe 6 inches short.
Well, it looks like time for James Franklin to come off the bench and do his thing. But great job of noticing man-to-man coverage, getting the ball out of his hand quick to Levi Noel. They were hoping he could break that tackle, but unfortunately he couldn't. But great job by Cale Brooks to make that tackle just to keep him up. Not even a yard short, but now they got to bring in James Franklin to run the quarterback sneak.
Oh, so we think.
That's what we think. You never know.
Who's surprised that he didn't? Oh, bobbled the football, and did he get there? Ticats got in there quickly. Jamal Westerman was part of the surge, and they're going to mark him. Right at the 45.
They get just enough of a push up front to get him that first down. I know the snap was bobbled, which definitely caused some people's hearts to skip a beat.
Oh, he never got the 45.
He never got to the 40. Great aerial shot right there.
They're going to mark this as a first down. By the way, this is a play you can challenge.
You can challenge this.
You can challenge the spot on 3rd down. And June Jones has the challenge flag in his hand. You only get one challenge, though.
Yeah, only one challenge. But this could be a pivotal play right here early on to get momentum going on your side. This is one of the most important drives of the game. Who's going to put the favorite on their side coming out of the locker room?
And they've marked him short, so the challenge not required. They actually marked him just shy of the 45-yard line, so a turnover on downs.
The video official has corrected the spot. We'll now measure again.
So they've respotted the football, mark it, and it's a turnover on downs by the Argonauts. On the opening possession now, if Trestman wanted to, he could perhaps challenge it, but the video official has already ruled on it.
Well, we talked about it earlier. The fact that a bad thing happened going into the half, and now it comes out, continues to spiral downhill. These things can't happen. These things can't happen for a team that's trying to get momentum on their side with a young quarterback. They're trying to get something going here, and then they come up with a fumble on 3rd down with the offense like Hamilton on a short field. Good luck.
First down, Ticats from the Toronto 45. Mazzoli works his way free, looks down the field, Banks trying to get open, they throw it underneath. And the pass is dropped by Alex Green.
Well, I tell you, coaches always used to talk about KYP, know your personnel. You're throwing to Alex Green, he's a running back. You have to make it a perfect throw for the running backs. I know running backs are like, hey, come on, man, give us some props now. But hey, he's a running back. You can't throw it behind him, Jeremiah. Put it in front. It's not Brandon Banks or Luke Tasker who can catch it anywhere. But he found time to buy time for his guys to get open, but unfortunately threw it behind his back.
Now 2nd and 10 for the Ticats, working into what little wind there is. Four-man rush for the Argos. Now the 8-man comes, and Mazzoli under pressure has to throw that away. So Justin Tuggle kind of disguised the rush there for the Argos, came in late and forces Mazzoli to throw it away, and the Argos turn the Ticats away.
Well, that was great pressure from the Toronto Argonauts. We talked about the fact that they led the CFL, were tied with Calgary in the league with sacks last season. And here you can see Tuggle lined up at the will linebacker position. as far as finding ways to get pressure on Jeremiah Masoli. It's more of a delayed rush here once he saw Masoli get extra time because the coverage on the back end was good enough. It gave them time to get pressure on him up front and caused him to throw the ball away.
So a long field goal try here for Hairolahu from 52 yards out into the wind. It is good.
Nice kick.
Ties his longest of the year. And so the Ticats come out with 3 points on the turnover on downs by the Argos. A 5-point lead for Hamilton on the Labor Day rebound. Lots of Hamilton fans made the journey down the QEW today to the second half of the home and home, and a really unusual feature of the Canadian Football League that you don't see in most leagues is playing the same opponent in back-to-back weeks. Bethel Thompson throws the flat to Levi Noel. He drops it.
Man, things continue to spiral downhill for these Argos. I mean, they're trying to get some consistency going on the offensive side. They had it in the first quarter and a half, but now after that penalty earlier on in the offense when they had too many men in the huddle, it continues to spiral downhill. They need a big play, need to get a few plays consistently going, build that consistency, get McLeod Bethel Thompson feeling good. Players have to make plays.
Second down, here comes the rush. Bethel Thompson stands in, looks over for S.J. Green. He's brought down, had a collision there with Hamilton's Carell Brooks. A flag came down right away.
Pass interference, Hamilton number 26. Point of the foul, automatic, first down.
So they get Brooks for the pass interference, and there's a break for Toronto.
Well, it was a good job by Bethel Thompson. Needing a play, who does he go to? S.J. Green. We talked about him earlier being the guy who had to take that step forward to lead this skilled group to start making plays for Bethel Thompson. Hey, a penalty is as good as a big play downfield. First down and 10. And as you can see, Carell Brooks makes that grab as S.J. Green had a great release on him to the outside. I think the only way he's going to stop an even bigger play from happening was just to latch on, grab on, or trip him up, which he did.
Interesting that a guy who's 215 pounds like S.J. Green would be knocked off stride that easily.
Exactly.
Now Bethel Thompson throws again, looking for Edwards, incomplete. And that time, Frankie Williams put his arms out right away and said, I didn't touch him.
I didn't touch him on that case. I know right now Bethel Thompson is kicking himself because if he led him more to the middle of the field, because as we mentioned earlier, if the safety, Mike Daly, leaves that middle of the field, you've got to replace him with the receiver. Unfortunately there, Armani Edwards did that, but Bethel Thompson threw it behind him. And one thing about Bethel Thompson, you know when he makes a bad play or a bad throw, he lets you know it. He doesn't hold his emotions back. And I love that in a guy.
I wonder why. You weren't always smiling, Hank.
No, never.
Second down and almost intercepted. As back on the coverage was Carell Brooks, who got penalized earlier and almost came back with an interception on that play.
Well, it seems like wherever you see S.J. Green go, 26 is right there with him. I mean, he used to play with the Toronto Argonauts, and now he's sitting here making plays against his old foes. Great play, great break on the ball, almost an interception there. Hamilton's had a couple chances for some picks, but they dropped both.
Medeiros trying to angle this kick, a high tumbling boot. Taken by Braylon Addison at the 15-yard line. And Addison muscled out at the 21-yard line. A 43-yard punt and a return of 7. A 5-point lead for the Ticats in Toronto on this Saturday afternoon. Brandon Banks and the Hamilton offense back on the field. Let's go back down to the sidelines and Matthew Chinetti.
Gord, when we were talking to Mark Trestman yesterday, perhaps of both these teams, he might be Brandon Banks' biggest fan, because when the Argos were looking at tape and looking at some of those plays that Brandon Banks had, and he was our player of the game last week, he mentioned Brandon Banks' physicality. Many will remember that Brandon Banks told us earlier in the season he considers himself one of the toughest players in the CFL. So one of the plays that Mark Trestman isolated was Brandon Banks getting a pass, ducking his pads, and bowling over 2 guys. We told Brandon Banks that earlier today, and the one thing that Banks said, I have a message for Coach Trestman. I'm 5'7", always play like 6'7", guys.
First down carry goes to Green, who gets out to the 30-yard line, a gain of about 8 of the play. It's amazing to think about a guy listed at 5'7", 150 pounds, being as durable as he's been.
Oh, I guess Brandon Banks says it himself. Big things come in small packages, and he's right with himself. I tell you, when he's on, he's one of the best out there.
2nd and 2. And Green got wrapped up there, likely short.
Wow, great play by Justin Tuggle. And he needs to make plays like this. The fact that Marcus Ball's in, he's filling in for one of the best linebackers in the CFL. He stepped in admirably, and he's making some big plays today. As you can see him here, he's starting off on the right side of your screen there. He just scrapes. He sees the flow of the run. He scrapes right into the open hole there, unblocked, makes a big tackle.
They mark him down to the 31-yard line. He needs a little more than that for a first down. We saw the Argos come up short on a 3rd down gamble earlier in the half. And we'll see just how far Hamilton has to go. Not much.
Not much. Well, that just shows you Alex Green's ability to put a spin move there and not only turn a worse gain into actually a better gain than what it should have been.
But you know what, Henry? Hamilton, unlike most teams in the league, keeps Mazzoli out for short yardage. Right, whereas James Franklin came in for Toronto, hasn't taken a lot of snaps, bobbles it, comes up short. Mazzoli stays out with his short yardage team.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing. I wanted to be in there because, again, if the mistake was going to be made, let me make the mistake because I felt more comfortable with me getting my hands on the ball rather than somebody else.
And Mazzoli dives ahead. The Argos are saying they stopped him. 24 guys think they're officials.
Lots of hands pointing out there, Gord.
The guy who matters says first down Hamilton.
Exactly. Well, you can see Jeremiah Mazzoli in his league, and as far as his experience in this league early on in his career, he started out as a quarterback running short yardage. And, of course, here you can probably see him going left because Bear Woods was closer up on the line.
First down Hamilton from the Ticat 32. Lots of time for Mazzoli. Throws over middle. Banks reaching up, grabs the ball. He is gone. Brandon Banks, touchdown Hamilton.
Wow. Tight coverage there, a tight hole. How did he find him there?
78-yard score for the Ticats. And Brandon Banks continues his astonishing roll.
Did we say big things come in small packages? Doesn't get any bigger than that. Hey, he is their playmaker. He's their #1 playmaker in that receiving corps. He continues to step up. Jeremiah Mazzoli, great eyes on this play. Look at him looking to the weak side. You get flow from Bear Woods to the boundary, which opens up a big hole right over Darby's head. And once Brandon Banks gets in the clear, you'll see that license plate, 16 Banks on the back of his jersey. That's all you're going to see.
Puts the point after, up and good. And Brandon Banks last week, 9 for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 2 more scores today. And the Ticats have a 12-point lead of the Argos in Toronto. He's got 4 touchdown passes in the 2 games against Toronto and still has a ways to go.
You're right about that. This is one of my old favorite plays, going to Brandon Banks here, 20 yards down the field, a yard to 2 yards inside the hash. As you could, I told you earlier, Jeremiah Mazzoli's eyes on Bear Woods to get him to work weak. Look at it, 20 to 22 yards downfield. Perfect throw by Jeremiah. Great catch by Brandon Banks. My old play cutter, man. That's one of those crossovers from the Ken Austin era. Hey, if you got, like I say, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Hey, they kept that play in the playbook and it still works like golden.
Banks, 138 yards receiving today, over 1,000 yards in the season. New career high for him, 1,018. And here's Jerron Carter on the kickoff return up to the 35-yard line. So Banks, back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons for the Ticats. And what an evolution for a player who came in as primarily a special teams player and a really good one at that.
Well, I tell you, he continued to work hard throughout his career. And Brandon Banks has always talked about he wants to get over the fact that people knew him as a special teams return man. But now look at him as a receiver.
Since Labor Day of last year, the most receiving yards in the CFL.
Wow. It just shows you he's trending hot. He's a great receiver, and that's why Hamilton goes to him early and often.
There's James Wilder Jr. on first down. Gets stacked up after a gain of a couple on the play. Jason Neal and Larry Dean there to make the stop for the Ticats.
Now, Gord, how many times must we mention the fact that the trend has started downward for Toronto ever since the middle of the second quarter? Can they find a way offensively here now to answer this? Because just as we said, they had to answer scoring drives by Hamilton. None is more bigger than this one because they've been in a rut as of lately, not being able to put a drive together. They have to be able to make that happen here on this one.
2nd and 7. Bethel Thompson throws. Edwards fought his way close to the 45-yard line. Got thrown back hard. They're going to mark him right at the 45. So it's going to be another third and less than a yard for Toronto.
Well, I bet you Franklin doesn't fumble this next quarterback sneak, but great job by McLeod. Saw coverage on the outside, man-to-man coverage. He got the ball out of his hand quickly to give Armani a chance to rally for the first down, but unfortunately, there's a lot of black and gold around him rallying to him, and they kept him short. Don't jinx him this time, Gord, please. Don't jinx him.
Franklin in on short yardage. And this time he gets it easily.
He secured that thing, pulled it to his chest tight as he could. He hugged it tight.
I always think, though, it must be difficult for a guy who is not playing to come in and suddenly take a snap in that situation.
Well, it's one of those things, you only have one job, and you have to do it the right way. And sometimes when you take 1,000 snaps, you can relax on 1,001, and that's the one you'll fumble, and that's case in point.
In the meantime, he's taken 9 of those snaps and dived into the end zone. He's got 9 touchdowns this year.
Wow, great for fantasy numbers.
I think the longest one is 2. First down. Set up the screen. Bethel Thompson throws it underneath. Levi Noel's got it in the convoy in front of him. A first down and more. Down to the 50-yard line. Frankie Williams helped make the stop, but the perfectly set up screen for the Toronto Argonauts. And that's 18 yards and an Argo first down.
Well, that was a great slow delayed screen to Levi Noel. Try to slow down that rush from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, getting into one of your playmakers' hands, getting the offensive line out to block guys downfield. A great job of selling it by Bethel Thompson, giving it all a chance to develop. And again, a big game for Toronto, trying to help turn this momentum back around. They've got to do it here.
From the 46, to give to James Wilder Jr. And again, some hard running there.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for James Wilder here in the second half.
Simone Lawrence in to help make the stop. He's had a quiet afternoon. I mean, from our standards, he's probably not quiet down there.
Yeah, no, he's always talking.
There's Jerry Glanville, the defensive coordinator for the Ticats. I wonder if he still leaves tickets for Elvis at the will call window.
I wonder.
He used to always do that. Head coach in the NFL, he used to always leave 2 for Elvis.
We'll have to call customs and see if Elvis came across the border. Call immigration.
Gain was 3 there. It's 2nd and 7. Bethel Thompson throws, and the catch is made by Noel. Levi Noel with a first down and more again. Throws his head down. He gets down to the 22-yard line. Takes a late shot there from Don Anumba. And that draws the ire with the Argos in the sidelines. And Anumba pointing fingers.
A great high percentage throw right here. Gord just outflanking the coverage outside. A nice flat route thrown by Bethel Thompson just to get it to Noel quick so he can get his shoulders upfield. Lots of speed, outflanking the coverage, moving the chains.
What an impressive drive by the Argos.
Yeah. I mean, great response to the scoring drive. They have to do this. High percentage throws, running the ball with James Wilder Jr.
Give it back to him. James Wilder Jr. busts through and gets brought down at the 1. Almost got in, and Namba got a hand on him.
A fabulous job right here. Look at the right guard, Ryan Bombin, who not only catches touchdown passes with nice soft hands, great job of blocking here, turning out Richardson, who took Taylor Ron's place. As soon as he was able to turn his shoulders on him, look at that gap that opened up. Great job of James Wilder Jr. breaking tackles. Unfortunately, he didn't get into the end zone, but now they're at the 1-yard line, so this is James Franklin territory.
Yeah. 9 rushing rushing touchdowns on the year for James Wilder Jr. This is the 8th play of the drive. They're having a look at this, I believe. So referee Tom Valesi is talking to Mark Trestman on the Argo sidelines. They actually mark him down at the 2.
At the 2.
First and goal for Toronto from the 2.
That's tough because when you think you're at the 1 and you call a play, now they're backed up a yard, but they can get an extra yard. Look at that.
It dives in, and there it is. His 10th rushing touchdown in the air. And the Argos with an impressive answer to Hamilton's quick strike to Brandon Banks.
Oh, that was a big drive right there with just short, quick, efficient throws from Bethel Thompson, running the ball with James Wilder Jr. That's what it's all about. But hey, even though the ball's in the 2 here, we knew they could get in on the sneak. They've shown positivity as far as in the quarterback sneak here. He just went off the left edge and was able to punch it in.
And that sets an Argo record for rushing touchdowns in a season. And James Franklin had that bobble earlier. Caps off an 8-play, 75-yard drive for the Argos. And now Medeiros for the point after. And he missed it left. So now a 6-point lead for Hamilton. But Franklin continues as he punches it home and draws the Argos closer. Argos are back on the board here. James Franklin, by the way, now has 10 rushing touchdowns on the year, breaking the record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback for the Argos, 9 of Doug Flutie back in 1996.
Well, Mark Trestman put together a great package for this drive, giving Bethel Thompson a chance to get some easy, efficient, high percentage throws to Levi Noel. He was definitely mixed into this package a lot, getting the ball here into the flat, nice quick throw, outflanking the defense, getting them inside the red zone, which set things up for James Wilder Jr. Hey, and we got to show the offensive linemen some love. I mean, Ryan Bauman. Hey, look on the left side here. Tyler Holmes, William Campbell. A nice surge from even 2 yards out on a quarterback sneak. It didn't matter. They're in the end zone, and they're back in this game. But finish the drive off with an extra point. Come on, kicker. You only have one job.
And now does Hamilton have a response? Under 3 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Medeiros sends it to Addison back at the 15-yard line. And Addison stacked up right away. Special teams tackle made there by Cameron Walker for the Argos. So it was a quick strike, 78-yard touchdown on the last drive for the Ticats. What does Jeremiah Mazzoli have on this time?
Well, I tell you, on your mind sometimes as a quarterback, whenever you put together a real good drive and your defense gives up a score coming back, you're just like, okay, guys, here we go again. Let's just go make it happen. But again, for 60 minutes, you have to stay dialed in. But looking at how Jeremiah and that team, that offensive unit has played thus far, hey, they're up to the challenge.
The number 1 time possession offense in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, this is right up their alley.
From the Hamilton 29-yard line, play fake to Green. And throw it underneath. Guess who? Brandon Banks. Guess what? First down, Ticats. Wow. Talked about Brandon Banks since Labor Day of last year. That's when Jeremiah Mazzoli was named the starting quarterback for the Ticats. Only Mike Riley has more passing yards since then than Mazzoli.
Well, I can tell you the only difference between those other 2 guys up there with Jeremiah in the top 3 is they both have Grey Cup championships. Jeremiah can become an elite quarterback if he can make that happen right along with those 2. He's definitely been playing great for Hamilton.
First down from the 43. Mazzoli under pressure and off and running. Mazzoli gets a first down, diving across midfield. And remember when he broke into the league and Hamilton ran that so-called wildcat offense, he almost only ran the football.
Well, I tell you, I mean, he must have soaked himself in some grease or something because he turned nothing into something. And the way he was running right through all this traffic here, nobody could get their hands on him. This is the great thing about Jeremiah. When it comes to improvisation, none do it better in the CFL than number 8 under center for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Crosses midfield, first down Hamilton into Toronto territory. Back to Green, trying to find some room. Tuggle there to help make the stop as he gets down to the 50-yard line for a gain of 4.
Well, it's turned into a bit of a back-and-forth match here with the offenses right now. They're both doing a great job of chewing up clock, giving their defenses a chance to rest on the sideline and putting points on the board. Now, hey, they're past midfield in a second and medium situation. We talked about all the man-to-man coverage. Let's see what they dial up here.
Remember, the Argos lost their starting safety, Jermaine Gabriel, in the early moments of this football game. Now they've got Jonathan Dowling playing safety. And he shows blitz. Flags come down. Was only throws. Tasker's got the catch to the 43-yard line. Good for Hamilton. First down, pending the penalty.
Well, of course, when they bring all-out blitz.
Offside. Hamilton number 12. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
And Mike Jones called for jumping the count.
Now they're in a second long situation. They brought the all-out blitz there. What do they do here? Do they sit back, play zone? They've shown a bit of man-to-man coverage with 2 guys up high, 2 safeties. A 2-man is what they call it. But what do they do here? Do they sit back and play zone, allow them to throw underneath, or do they bring the heat once again?
What do you want?
Well, me, hey, if they run zone, let's find a hole. If they run man, Jeremiah, or run a draw with Alex Green.
Second down. Here comes the rush again from Tuttle. Mazzoli takes way back to his 30. Throws it ahead, but they'll be well short of a first down there as Green made the catch, but it's actually a loss of 3 on the play. Now the Ticats will have to punt, so a good stiffening by the Toronto defense turns the Ticats away.
Yeah, they definitely brought pressure here. As you can see, Alex Green leaving the backfield. You see Bearwoods go with him. Now they're bringing a 5-man rush here. The only problem is nobody blocked Justin Tuggle. He was free off the edge. Dangerous throw by Jeremiah Masoli. Luckily enough, Alex Green turned around to make the catch.
Low snap. Iwalahu picks it up an elevator shaft, and it bounces right to Toronto's Martise Jackson. And Jackson pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Bethel Thompson goes back to work as time expires here at the end of the third quarter. It's once again a close one between the Ticats and the Argos. Hamilton blew it open in the fourth quarter last week. What do the final 15 minutes have in store in this one? It's the first of 3 on the CFL and TSN on this Saturday. Here's your numbers through 3 quarters of play here in Toronto. And not much to choose between the 2 sides. Hamilton with the edge in passing yards, a little bit in rushing yards. The turnovers, 1 on downs by Toronto, interception by the Argonauts. Time possession once again, though. A big story in this one, the Argos actually have the edge against Hamilton. We mentioned number 1 in the CFL in time possession. So here we are in the fourth quarter. It's where it got away from Toronto last week, and now the pressure goes to McLeod Bethel Thompson.
But the biggest stat on the board is the one on the scoreboard, and right now Toronto, they're within shooting distance. If they can put this drive together and continue the momentum that they started here in the second half, if Bethel Thompson can put together a string of throws here, just as they have been, get James Wilder Jr. off to a good start, running the ball, moving the chains, they can take the lead here if they put the ball in the end zone.
First down Argos from their 29-yard line. And the first down carry to James Wilder Jr., who gets wrapped up immediately. Gain of maybe 3 on the play.
Well, he definitely helped change up kind of their tendency already throughout the first 3 quarters. They've been heavy pass on first down. You know, they've only run James Wilder Jr. a few times on first down. So that right there was a good change up. Hey, it got them a couple of yards. Now they're sitting with a 2nd and 7.
Bethel Thompson stands in and fires, and his favorite target here in the second half, Levi Noel, makes the catch and has a first down out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 9.
Great job by Levi Noel. Outside breaking route, did a great job of settling down in that zone defense. Great throw by McLeod Bethel Thompson. As you can see, Simone Lawrence is right there, getting his hands on Levi Noel. Great job of throwing it back shoulder, because if he led him into Delvin Breaux, that would have been a kill shot right there. So it was good he threw him back shoulder just to settle him down in that zone.
41. Bethel Thompson sidearms it. S.J. Green makes the catch as Mike Daly is standing beside him, a gain of 5.
You can tell he must be feeling real good right now, because you always know the cliche to quarterbacks, never throw it late over the middle. When he threw it, I was like, oh, But thankfully, S.J. Green found a nice little hole in the zone, settled down. They got a completion. But, man, that's taking a chance.
Kind of threw that into the pile.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of bodies in there.
Market has a gain of 7. It's 2nd and 3. Here comes the blitz. Bethel Thompson throws incomplete. Looking there for Monty Edwards. And the coverage provided by Jamal Roll.
You know what I'm thinking there? You need 3 yards. You need 3 yards. You got a guy number 32 in the backfield that's averaging over 5 yards a carry right now. Give it to him. Let him go with you. That was the problem last week. They didn't run James Wilder Jr. enough in the second half. And here's a case where getting too cute is probably getting a little too cute. Just do the things that got you there.
Addison takes the punt inside his 30-yard line. And fights his way close to the 40, which is where the Ticats will go to work. 25-19. The Ticats lead. Brandon Banks is once again having himself a day against Toronto. Touchdown catches in the last 2 games against the Argonauts. Saskatchewan-Winnipeg continues our triple header coverage today. The Labor Day rematches at 4 o'clock each and 1 o'clock Pacific. And that's followed up by Calgary at Edmonton. So you played in all 3 of these. Hamilton, Toronto, Saskatchewan-Winnipeg, Calgary-Edmonton. Which one's the most bitter?
You know, I got to say that Saskatchewan-Winnipeg rivalry, no matter what the records are, people hate each other. They're throwing watermelons and banjos and everything at each other, Pilsner, whatever they can get their hands on.
First down carried Alex Green. And he'll get a gain of about 5 on the play. A 6-point lead for Hamilton, which blew the game open on Monday night with 18 points in the 4th quarter against Toronto. It was a big interception by Daly that led to a touchdown. The Argos went 2 and out. Hamilton drove it back down on them again.
Well, it goes to show you running out screen right there on first down. It's their dedication to bouncing out that offense. They got a little pass heavy there. They can't forget about 15 because of him last week. They were able to take back control of that game.
Now on 2nd down, Mazzoli off his back foot throwing for Banks. Dropped it. Banks is saying there was pass interference. Being watched there by Ronnie Yell. Banks wants him to challenge. Jones has the challenge flag out. And he's going to challenge him.
Yeah, there was contact there.
So June Jones will challenge. Pretty tough to tell a guy who's got 4 touchdown passes in 2 games. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you can't tell him no. Well, the ruling is, for those who may not understand, is after 5 yards, defensive backs cannot make contact with the receiver.
Cannot initiate
contact.
Pass interference on the play. We'll review it.
So let's see, did he initiate contact? That's the big question.
He's allowed to hold his ground. 2nd from the bottom.
Yeah. Anytime you extend those 2 arms like that, that's one of the keys to pass interference. Here let's take another look at it from this angle here. You can see he's in perfect good position there, Ronnie Yell is. I don't know why he had to put the hands on him. But again, when you're going against a guy with the speed of Brandon Banks, I can only imagine how uncomfortable you can get. But hey, the thing that surprised me is the signaling of the throw the flag. Usually that's not allowed.
That can often be a penalty in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think what he was doing was gesturing to June Jones.
Yeah.
You throw the challenge flag. If you say to the official, throw a flag,
right,
he'll throw it on you.
But I've seen guys penalized for doing the motion as well.
Right.
So that surprised me. I'm pretty sure June Jones said, don't do that. Don't do that again. We can't use that flag.
Well, it's a big play. It was a 2nd down play. So the replay official looking at this.
But Gord, do you expect anything less from me as a quarterback trying to get a pass interference call here?
I'd like to think you could be a little objective. And here's the call.
After review, pass interference. Toronto number 25. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Banks is correct. That's it for now. Hamilton for challenging.
Yeah, kudos to them for taking advantage of that.
But it's a big play.
Big play.
Puts the Ticats at their own 52-yard line. The drive continues.
That's a momentum killer for the Argos, I can tell you that. And now they get a fresh set of downs now with Jeremiah Masoli and Alex Green.
Just the second successful challenge this year by the Ticats.
Oh, man. That's a good sign.
They were on a bit of a cold streak.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Ticat fans.
Now Masoli under pressure. Throws incomplete for Tasker as Alden Darby was there on the coverage. Rakeem Cox was chasing down quarterback Jeremiah Masoli.
Well, it was a good job by that Argos defense. As you can see, maintaining their leverage. Here's Akeem Jordan, linebacker, making sure Jeremiah can get outside and take off running with the ball as he was able to buy time with his feet. And, of course, throwing to Luke Tasker, he wasn't able to get him open. He out threw a little bit too far, but great job.
This is the 7th time that Hamilton has faced second and 8 or more yards. They're 1 for 6 so far. It's a tough distance.
Yeah, it is a tough distance right here. And let's see what Toronto's going to bring here. They got guys down playing man-to-man coverage. They're going to try to bring extra heat on Jeremiah.
Cox flushes Masoli out. And now throws towards the sidelines. The pass is caught by Tasker. And they say no. You only need 1 foot. The two officials are talking about it. He's short of a first down anyway.
Yeah, let's see if he can get 1 foot down. Well, there's the 1 foot down. He maintained control. Yes, he did. That's a catch in my book.
Hamilton can't challenge it. Now, it would be a 3rd down anyway.
Right.
Brandon Banks is down there taunting the Argo bench. There's the
ruling on the field is a completed pass of the Toronto 54.
Okay, so the officials talked it over. So,
well, seeing that divot looks like my golf game, actually.
No, they should really replace that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's 3rd down. The Ticats will have to punt. However, in much better field position. Hiralahu looking for the sideline. Ron Carter from the 15-yard line.
Great coverage.
Great coverage there by Jay Lang on the special teams for Hamilton. A 39-yard punt, a return of 3. The Argos have the football back, down by 6 at home against Hamilton. TV's most dysfunctional family returns for an all-new season of twisted drama. Shameless premieres tomorrow at 9 Eastern only on the Movie Network. So the Argos have a long field here to start their own 18-yard line. On average, Henry teams score a touchdown about once every 16 times when they start a drive inside their own 20. Wide side out for S.J. Green. And Green to the 25. Coverage there from Jamal Roll.
Yeah, just good to see them get this drive out to a good start by getting a completion. I know we often talk as quarterbacks and offensive personnel, and just seeing a positive gain on the first play, it lifts spirits, gets guys excited about moving these chains and moving this ball downfield.
Last week, Toronto had 9 negative plays in the first half against Hamilton.
Yeah, it's all a mind state. Let's get the ball downfield.
Back to James Wilder Jr., and he got stacked up right away. Larry Dean, the middle linebacker, was in there, along with Bobby Richardson, who was a late add to the Hamilton lineup, rather. Don Numba in there to help make the stop as well. This will be well short of a first down. And so a big defensive stand there by the Ticats.
Yeah, I tell you, Richardson getting his first chance to play here, getting some CFL action in his system. A big play right there to help get the Argos off the field. A great opportunity for Hamilton to flip field position. And who knows? I mean, with Hamilton's punt return game, they've had some success. And we're going to see what's going to happen here.
And an injury to the plate is James Wilder Jr., who is shaken up.
Yeah, he took a big hit.
Well, the Ticats special teams have suffered a little bit with the fact that Brandon Banks is no longer really a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they need him in the offense too much to have him also returning kicks. 9:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. Hamilton leads Toronto by 6. James Wilder Jr. shaking up at the end of that last play, makes his way off the field for Toronto. So this back and forth battle for field position continues here in the fourth quarter. Braylon Addison back to receive the punt from Zach Medeiros. Good kick by Medeiros. Addison from his 45-yard line. Gets free, and Addison fights his way across midfield and down to the Toronto 50-yard line. So that defensive stand by the Ticats, a good return by Addison. And now the Ticats are in business. A 47-yard punt, but a 22-yard return by Addison.
And the difference now you can see is when guys are coming off the field, they're high-fiving each other. That's what gets the momentum going. Gets guys feeling good about putting the ball in the end zone. Hopefully James Wilder Jr. is doing okay. That'd be a terrible loss for this team.
Let's go, D!
Especially with as much as online right now for the Toronto Argonauts for the rest of this season.
First down, Hamilton from the Toronto 50-yard line. Mazzoli under pressure, gets away, just heaves that up, and it's almost caught. Dropped on the sidelines by Mike Jones.
Oh my goodness.
That would have been the greatest Houdini act of all.
Would have been. Did he even see Mike Jones there? I don't know if he was trying to throw it away, but hey, Toronto, they're doing a great job of covering up receivers downfield. This is what you call one of those coverage sacks, but Beltre did a great job of getting pressure on him. But Mazzoli, Mr. Houdini himself, finding ways to buy time for his receivers. But man, you got to make that catch, Mike Jones. Come on.
Second down from the 50. Four-man rush this time. And Mazzoli fires. Jones has it. And gets a first down, going out of bounds at the 37. Now, I know you, Henry.
Yeah, he heard me.
If he had dropped that, you're done for the day. Right?
I'm done. Yeah, he's done for the day.
But you get one more chance, right?
Yeah, you get another chance. You come right back to it. That's what Jeremiah did. He did not hesitate. But great job. He saw zone coverage, dropped off deep. And sometimes you can't force things. He works through his progression, comes to the backside. There's Mike Jones wide open. He had better made that catch right there and get the first down. He had some making up to do, let's just say.
First down from the 37-yard line now. The clock running at 8.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Here's Green with it. And he stopped up pretty quickly in the play by Toronto's Cleon Lang. That handoff exchange for Hamilton is interesting because Mazzoli really sticks it in there.
He sticks it in there.
He doesn't lay it out.
Well, the guys that are playing contain, you really have to keep them to pay attention to the quarterback. Where if you give them the intention early that I've given it, now they can all collapse on the run. But Jeremiah keeps the guessing game going, keeps those guys at bay, make sure they keep contained outside to give off screen a gap or two, maybe to run through.
Big second down play here on 2nd and 7. Here comes the rush. Mazzoli gets it away to Green. He's got room to run. Alex Green up the sidelines. Touchdown, Hamilton.
What a play by Jeremiah Mazzoli, recognizing the blitz, getting the ball out of his hand quickly. For Justin Tuggle, first time playing wheel linebacker. These are the rookie mistakes that occur when you are a half second late getting to your responsibility. You can see Tuggle right here. He's the guy in charge of covering number 15, Alex Green. As you can see, he's a few steps behind him. Jeremiah Mazzoli recognizes that, get the ball out of his hands quickly. Green outflanks Tuggle, and he's off to the races.
So again, Marcus Ball out of the lineup. Tuggle comes in. Jermaine Gabriel, the safety, gets hurt. They've got Dowling in for him. Mazzoli, 304 yards today. That's his 9th 300-yard passing game of the year. He has tied your single-season Hamilton record.
Let's just say he's going to take it down maybe by next week.
Enjoy it while it lasts, Hank.
Exactly.
And now the Ticats will go for 2. Mazzoli fires it up. Tasker's got it. Second time this year on 5 attempts, so the Ticats have been successful on a 2-point convert try. And so now that extends the lead to 14 points. And there it is.
Can I sing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye by Boyz II Men? Because I know
Please don't.
that record's going to be gone after next week. I mean, he's doing a great job. And, hey, these guys are in a zone right now, Hamilton's offense. I mean, third consecutive game with him throwing for over 300 yards. And now it puts him at, what, 1,107 yards right now over the past 3 games. And, hey, we still got time to go in this game.
Saturday.
Ooh, that's going to be a big showdown.
Now, a win today would tie the Ticats with Ottawa for first place in the East Division. Ottawa has the tiebreak right now because Ottawa won the first meeting of the season. They play twice more, back-to-back in late October.
And tell me about it. I mean, Ottawa has the most difficult schedule in the second half. They're staying out west because they have Saskatchewan coming up on a short week in Regina. And we know that's not an easy place to get a victory.
So a 14-point lead for the Ticats. We're trying to sweep the Labor Day doubleheader for just the second time since 2005. And this became a regular part of the Canadian Football League schedule. Martese Jackson forced out of bounds. And so let's take you back in the Wayback Machine to 2013 and look at this handsome devil wearing number 1 for the Ticats.
It's unfortunate, but a lot of these guys I'm throwing to were not playing anymore. But as you can see here, that was Andy Fantus on the first one, but I love my time playing with Hamilton, one of the best fan bases in the league. That's Greg Ellingson, who's currently with Ottawa Red Blacks. But, you know, during my time in Tigertown was an outstanding experience and something I'll never forget.
Well, great to have you in the booth. How are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. I love football action. It's great to be up here. A beautiful day for some pigskin throwing around.
Ethel Thompson swings it out. And the pass is caught by Martese Jackson, taking the place of James Wilder Jr. Gets a gain of a couple.
Receiver drills? Yeah. Love you, love him.
We don't film. I love you too.
I tell you, it's great to see the growth on Jeremiah Mazzoli. I was with him when he first came to Hamilton in 2013, and from a young man, from a boy to a man now, lots has occurred. He's having lots of success from hard work.
They literally had an offensive package just for him, but he almost never threw the football.
Never threw the football. Always used his feet.
Ethel Thompson throws. S.J. Green close to the first down up at the 40-yard line. So the Argos need to score, a stop, and then score again.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, they were within shooting distance of 6, but you can't continue to give an offense like Hamilton's too many opportunities if you keep that defense on the field. As you can see with Justin Tuggle, late to the call, covering Alex Green. He looked fatigued. He couldn't keep up with him, and that turned into a touchdown for the Ticats.
The score in the fourth quarter of the last 2 games is 26-0 Ticats.
Man, I tell you that you got to close out games, and we talked about that throughout the day, where the Argos finishing drives, not only kicking field goals but getting the ball into the end zone. Then after they scored the touchdown, they missed the extra point. So finishing off drives, finishing things off are what the good teams do, and that's why Toronto's reeling the way they are.
Argos have it first down at their own 40-yard line, inside 6 to go here in the fourth quarter. Toronto has a bye week next week. So Deron Carter drew into the lineup. We have not seen him much.
Yeah, not much.
6 offensive plays for Carter this afternoon. Ethel Thompson throws to Green. The pass is incomplete.
And 5 of those plays from Deron were in the first half.
On the sidelines next to the head coach, listening to the play calls.
That's a frustrating throw from McLeod Ethel Thompson right there. Just he's thrown that pass, he's completed all day long. But when it matters the most, he did not get the completion. He's got to come back here on 2nd and 10.
And fires. Edwards makes the catch, a long way to go. And he got buried there by Justin Capicotti, the defensive end, who comes back and makes the stop. It'll be 3rd down for the Argos. They'll leave the offense on.
Yeah, they've got to go for it right here. I mean, the fact that they're down by 14 points, they've got to get something going right now. I mean, we've seen Toronto, whenever they were 2 and out in certain occasions and couldn't move the ball, They spiral downhill. They need a big play right now. 3rd and 3.
The season began for the defending Grey Cup champions. The loss of Ricky Ray 2 weeks ago. They lost 5 starters in the game against Montreal to injury. Bethel Thompson throws. That's knocked down by Don Anumba, who wears your old number 1.
Old number 1.
Plays a little differently than you did.
Exactly. Big play by that Ticat defense, bringing the pressure.
Field is incomplete pass.
That'll be another turnover on downs for the Argos.
Yeah, you can see Don Anumba. He's right here. He's bringing the pressure off the edge. And the side adjustment for an offense is he's unblocked. You have to get it out to your back. Whatever angle you need to throw the ball to get it to that back, you got to find it. Unfortunately, Don Anumba made the play over Bethel Thompson, but that's part of the growing process for McLeod Bethel Thompson.
So we're not quite prepared to call it just yet, but the Ticats are very close to going to 6-5 on the year.
Yeah.
And the Argos on the verge of dropping to 3-8.
I know it's unfortunate. Now they're still in that tie with Montreal, who takes to the field playing the BC Lions in Montreal coming up next week. You know what their eyes are on? 3rd place.
Crossover, a decided possibility once again. So where would you put Hamilton on the list of teams in Henry's power rankings right now?
I put them in 3rd. Honestly, I put them in 3rd.
Calgary first?
I put Calgary, Calgary first, Saskatchewan second, Hamilton in 3rd, because Saskatchewan did win the head-to-head in Hamilton.
That's Edmonton on line 1 for you.
I know. Well, they've been in sort of a skid right now, so they've got to beat Calgary. And we all know Calgary, the fact that they've lost Kamar Jordan, they still played well with DeVaris Daniels stepping up and taking the lead.
Hey, I love playing in
On 2nd down, Mazzoli fires, the pass is incomplete for Jones. Looking back on the sidelines with Matthew Shinetti.
Well, guys, you can see that Brandon Banks is not on the field. He's done for the day. We just spoke to him on the sidelines, and he's saying that he's feeling a little discomfort in his groin, and nothing major, no big concern. But given the way the Ticats offense has been playing, he wants to make sure he rests to get ready for next week.
He's been doing lots of catching, lots of running the last couple of days. So.
I guess when you're the man, you can take a rest now with 3 minutes left to go in this game. And they've got a nice cushion lead right now, and Haralahu can help add to that if he makes this.
Haralahu from 49 yards out. He had a 52-yarder earlier. And this is good. Liram Haralahu.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
Well, he's a Grey Cup champion here.
Yeah, this is definitely a field he knows very well when it comes to kicking. Nice hold by Luke Tasker. Oh, hey, what better hands to put it in? Haralahu, I mean, I tell you, he's Mr. Automatic.
It's an amazing story, though, for the Ticats. They began 0-8 last year, made the coaching change. June Jones came in. He went 6-4. And the Ticats have had a real resurgence. Jones and Mazzoli clicked almost from the start.
Well, I mean, the guys have talked about just the culture now, how things have changed since June has taken over. They enjoy going to work now. That locker room is so much different. Positivity, great leadership, and guys who believe that they can get it done regardless of who they play against.
Bethel Thompson stands in and throws. Finds S.J. Green, and Green wrapped up by Larry Dean short of a Toronto first down. And we have reached the 3-minute warning in Toronto. The Ticats have won 3 of 4, on the verge of making it 4-5 and making it quite a race for first place in the East Division. And we're just getting started. We've got 2 more games to come today.
As it gets late in Toronto, I'm starting to hear banjo music. They're getting set for that duel in Winnipeg and the rematch between the Riders and the Bombers in part 2 of the triple header. First, got to wrap things up with the Ticats and Argos. Back to Gord and Hank.
Thank you, Rod. A long day for the guys in the studio.
Yeah, going to be camping out together, get to know each other a little bit better.
2nd and short, Franklin back in. And gets the first down as he slides across the 45-yard line. So McLeod Bethel Thompson comes back in, the 30-year-old native of San Francisco. You mentioned grew up in the same area as Jeremiah Mazzoli. They knew of each other growing up. Got a chuckle about where they have found themselves and where their football journey has taken them. And the pass underneath is caught by Rodney Smith.
Yeah, I know they're throwing these high percentage underneath throws. They're going to have to find a way to take some shots downfield. They need to score 2 touchdowns and get some things going right away because the clock is still ticking. The clock is their biggest enemy right now.
You see Carter on the sidelines.
Yeah, no Deron Carter on the field.
Second and short. Bethel Thompson over the middle. Edwards makes the catch. And a flag is down as Edwards has a first down to the 32-yard line, pending the penalty on the other side of the field.
It looks like they're going to still move the chains here. Great anticipation by Bethel Thompson of putting that ball on a line in zone coverage. I can tell you, great job of timing. Him and Armani Edwards, they've been on the same page today.
Illegal contact. Hamilton, number 6. That penalty is declined. Play results in a first down.
Tom Valessi, our referee today. It's a high school math teacher.
Oh, high school math teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure he can put numbers together quite quickly.
Figure out offsetting penalties, all that.
Exactly.
From the 31, Bethel Thompson looking at the end zone for Green. Touchdown. What a throw from McLeod. Bethel Thompson. He finds S.J. Green, so 2:04 to go. The Ticats give the touchdown. Toronto draws closer now. It's an 11-point lead.
Well, this is the play they ran earlier that resulted in the pass interference on the Ticats. He goes right back to his man, S.J. Green. They've been on the same page all day today. Great release, getting to the outside in man-to-man coverage. People say S.J. Green may not have speed, but hey, he showed some speed right there.
It's a 5-play, 75-yard drive. Took a minute and 15 seconds. The Argos will go for 2 to cut the lead to 9. Time the pass just too far. Daly was there on the coverage.
Yeah, I think S.J. Green expected a shot right on him because when he came out and flattened off the route, I think he expected the ball to be more on him than out in front of him. So just a little bit of miscommunication right there. But let's go back to that touchdown throw. As you can see, Hamilton giving a look here where Jamal Westerman comes down over the guard, which gives Don Anumba a chance to rush from the right end. But they give lots of time to him. Of course, he took a shot there in the end, but gave him enough time just to get rid of the ball. A touchdown throw nicely placed to S.J. Green over the outside shoulder. Well, this is the reality of what it is it takes to play quarterback. Those are things you don't see sometimes. You got to stand in there and take that hit, but deliver a strike. And Bethel Thompson did a great job on that play. I mean, the guy's showing some moxie today, Bethel Thompson.
Yeah.
I think the kid has lots of upside to him.
And, you know, and Mark Trestman is saying the right things, and I don't think he's using rose-colored glasses. They've done a lot of good things. Where these games get away from them is critical moments.
Right, critical moments.
And Brandon Banks goes up and makes a play.
Exactly, and that's the difference. They have guys, Hamilton, they're making plays. And Hamilton, when something bad happens, they don't go into a hole. Where Toronto, ever since that first quarter, it took till the mid-third quarter for them just to get something positive going following a Hamilton Ticat touchdown.
So the hands team is on. Medeiros looking to his left for the short kickoff. 2:04 to go. Hamilton tried one in the first half unsuccessfully. And up it goes. Caught rather easily. And Luke Tasker just slides ahead of the 45-yard line.
I tell you, that collision with the front lines on an onside kick, I tell you, it gets very physical down there, but a great job of them protecting the catchers on the second level.
Luke Tasker on the opening drive of this touchdown drive of this game for Hamilton. Jeremiah Mazzoli went 4 for 4 passing, all 4 completions to Luke Tasker, including a touchdown grab.
Hey, well, you're in good hands with Tasker, I tell you. Like I said, great job of them protecting the catcher, being Luke Tasker. Gave him a chance to go up without any other confrontation from any Toronto Argonaut players. Catch that onside kick. Now here's the offense with a chance to run the clock out.
2:01 to go here in the fourth quarter. look out. Fumble. And Mazzoli pounces on that.
Well, it's a different guy back there.
So now Toronto used its timeout in the last 3 minutes.
Well, Mercer Timmons looked like he tripped up on his way to take the handoff. And like we mentioned earlier, if you make a mistake, out the game you go, son. Back comes in Alex Green.
That's not true of quarterbacks, however.
No.
Right? How come? What's up with that?
I will say this. We're darlings, quarterbacks we are.
Are you ever?
We are darlings.
You are precious.
We are precious.
Yeah. Let's make no mistake about that. Second down for the Toronto 50. Still to come. Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Edmonton, Calgary. What a Saturday here in this CFL schedule. A triple header day. All the Labor Day rematches. Terrific game last night between Ottawa and BC.
This is a dream day for anybody who loves football. I mean, a great day to barbecue with friends, invite everybody over, get in there on the couch, watch your game, cheer on your favorite team. Hey, this is what dreams are made of. It's fall in the air, nice crisp temperature out here today. Hey, Gord, this is what football is all about. Welcome out here.
You want to put a helmet on. Careful. 1:45 to go. And Hairolahu back to punt. Who launches that to the goal line. Taken there by Jackson. He lost the football, and Martise Jackson pounces on that at the 7. Time now for the Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the CFL.
Well, we said big things come in small packages, and this Labor Day has been owned by Brandon Banks. 6 catches, 153 yards. 2 touchdowns. I know for those fantasy owners of Brandon Banks, they're smiling this week.
So Labor Day week games, the 2 games against Toronto, 15 catches, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Oh my goodness. I can tell you, being the #1 receiver in this league, heads up, because number 16 in black and gold is in hot pursuit.
New career high in receiving yards in a season for him, 2nd straight year over 1,000. Bethel Thompson slipped on that. Field turf in the end zone at that end of BMO Field. So 1:16 to go in the 4th quarter. And for Mark Trestman and the Argos, a season removed from a Grey Cup championship. Back to the drawing board for the bye week. And Bethel Thompson launched that. He got buried in the play by Hamilton's Nikita Whitlock.
Things getting a little chippy out there.
Really, you don't say.
Simone Lawrence, you know, does he talk? Well, he was doing a little talking, and S.J. Green decided to wake him up there. But this is it right here. 3rd down.
And Toronto's going to gamble here. And the throw picked off. Carell Brooks intercepts it and goes inside the 10, down to about the 2. It looked, Henry, like Bethel Thompson didn't want to stand on that field turf in the end zone.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Didn't want to drop back that far. He brushed the throw, he got picked up.
Yeah, the first time he slipped, like we mentioned there. I mean, we've talked about that. We've heard people talk about how dangerous that can be. Because, again, if a guy slips while stepping in that end zone, you can blow out a knee, you can roll an ankle. And you can just tell he was very aware of where that turf was and made sure not to step in it. And it caused him to rush the throw there also, or just trying to make a play.
So Carell Brooks has his 2nd interception of the season. The Ticats have the ball at the Argo 2-yard line. By the way, the only Hamilton turnover today was a fumble by Brandon Banks. And Jeremiah Mazzoli in victory formation will take the snap. Argos don't have a timeout remaining. Jeremiah Mazzoli came in leading the CFL in interceptions thrown. with 11 on the year, but a clean sheet for him today.
Yeah, he talked about that yesterday when he came in and sat down with us, that he wanted to make sure he cleaned that up, because going down the stretch here, in order for them to claim first place in the East and to make a serious contention for the Grey Cup, there's going to come a time where he has to make a good decision, and he wants to make sure he's better in those cases.
And some sportsmanship from the Ticats. So our decision desk will declare this win for the Hamilton Ticats, now even with Ottawa for first place. We mentioned Ottawa won the first meeting of the season. They have 2 remaining, a back-to-back set in October. The Argos dropped to 3-8, tied with the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, and everybody had those 2 games in October circled between Hamilton and Ottawa. Right now, hey, we're well on track for that happening.
So the Ticats will turn it over officially to the Argos. Deron Carter, by the way, 7 offensive snaps. He was thrown at twice in the game. 2 punt returns, 1 kickoff return.
Yeah, and I think Mark Trestman summed it up. He was pretty much a non-factor today. Not many snaps as far as to make a presence on offense. And even on that last throw, his head wasn't even around expecting the ball. So it shows you that lots of chemistry has to be built, getting Deron Carter on the same page with the system. McLeod, Bethel, Thompson. Hey, we can see some growth there here coming up soon. Hopefully next week they can take the step to go to the next level with this offense.
Hamilton gets a great test next week from Calgary.
Yes, that's going to be a big test. All eyes are going to be on that game as they play Edmonton a little bit later tonight to conclude our triple header. But I can tell you, that's going to be a big game in Tigertown next week. Pretty sure Ticat fans are all pumped for that.
Ticats have won 4 of 5, including a sweep of the Labor Day week matchup against the Argos. 36-25, the final score in favor of Hamilton. Viewers on TSN4 will now send you to the USA Women's Open. And now for everyone else, just the start of a great day of football here on TSN. I'm Gordon Miller along with Henry Burris. Let's send you back to Rod Smith and the panel.
All right, thank you, Gord. Getting set for part.